Hey everybody, welcome to my latest video. So what you saw from the title, we are making a robot arm today. This is going to be the start of a new, it's probably going to take me a while, so it's going to be the start of a new series. I don't imagine I'll be able to get all this done in one go. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Never made a robot before. So yeah, I'm going to be learning along the way, and yeah, so we got a few parts here that we're going to be using. I have a bunch of these little 10 kilo RC style servos. So these are probably going to be the main actuators for the joints of the robot arm. This is not going to be a big thing. It's only going to be small. Maybe it'll sit on the desk. Could be a desktop type size machine. So I'm going to use these mostly for the joints and stuff, and then I got this big honking stepper motor that I repurposed from somewhere. I have absolutely no idea where it came from, but whoever it did, someone decided they needed to radius off one of the mounting corners, obviously, to fit somewhere. So yeah, I'm going to use this guy to do the base, basically the revolving. There's going to be a revolving base to it, sort of like a bit of the shoulder that spins around. So this is going to power that. There'll be something like this and a belt probably to power a base thing so that unit will spin around, and then off of that we'll build the rest of the arm. So in this video I'm going to build that whole base section, and then we'll follow up with the rest of the arm pieces in later videos. So to start off, I need to go and do some CAD. I need to build a model for the base piece, and then need to connect it all up and with the motor and figure out exactly how it's going to be driven. And then we'll go from there. So you guys can watch that. Okay, we've got some parts here. So the eagle-eyed among you will notice that these aren't the exact parts that you saw in the CAD on your screen a few seconds ago, but there have been some revisions already. And also I happen to know that these won't be the final parts either, because I spotted some kind of glaringly obvious issues once they came off the printer. But I'm going to put them together because they kind of work, so I'm going to put them together to give you an idea about what the assembly is going to look like, and then I'll probably go off and reprint new parts that should go together a little bit better and make it work, but I can demo what's going on with this set of parts, so I'm going to do that. You guys can watch it. So this is a quick, one of the glaringly obvious issues that I noticed when I was watching this on the printer was that originally this had been bigger, and there's a 12-sided shape inside here to give me flats to have these wheels mount against. So when it was bigger, the distance between the width of each of the flats was enough that you could fit one of these wheels, would be able to freely rotate around it. When I made it smaller, I didn't think that would be an issue, obviously. So now they kind of rub so they don't move as smoothly. So that's one of the the glaringly obvious issues that I will be fixing with a future version of this. But for the moment, they do work. They just rub a little bit, so they don't spin as freely as I'd like, but they do still work. So what this will then end up being is basically like a sort of a poor man's bearing. They will spin more freely when I have the actual version with wider gaps. So I went for a 9-sided shape for the. Well, I will go for a 9-sided shape to make that work better. Anyway. Okay, so that's the rough assembly done. So if you can see, you've got the motor mounted there, and there's the belt that goes through, drives this thing, which runs on the little bearing, makeshift bearing that I've made in the inside of it. Another one of the issues that I will be correcting is that you notice there's 4 holes here for the motors. They do line up nicely, but I haven't left myself enough adjustment here. There's sliding slots. Haven't left myself enough adjustments to tension the belt properly. We're also quite close on clearance between the body and the heads of those bolts. So yeah, I'll see if there's anything I can do about that. But yeah, the thing I need to do is I need to be able to move that back to tension the belt to drive the whole thing. For now, what I'm doing is I've just got one side bolted in, and I'm twisting it by hand just to tension it so that I can test it out. And it seems to work. Yeah, looks like it does. So I have the electronics here. I'm gonna plug it in, turn it on, and see what happens. So the test code that was running last time was just to spin it 360 degrees one direction, 360 degrees the other direction. So I'm just going to use that same test code and see what happens. If I turn on the power supply. Ooh. Okay, so the motor's spinning, and I've not got it under tension, so it's just spinning around there. So if I put this motor under tension, or if I pull this motor, it should put the belt under tension, and then this should drive left and right, or clockwise and counterclockwise. Let's see what happens. And it does it. Not super concentric, I'll admit, but not that bad. Honestly, a bit better than I was really expecting. So that's cool. Sort of works. I also think as I'm pulling on this, yeah, this whole base is flexing. And yeah, see, that's much better even like that. The whole thing is flexing a bit. I put it under a bit more tension, yeah, that actually is spinning better. Also, the other problem with these threaded rods, they're not I have to turn this off. Sorry, the sound of that really does get to you after a while. These threaded rods aren't very concentric, or they're not very straight and true. They can be a bit wobbly, so I don't think it's not really an ideal drive shaft, but I was actually pretty happy with how that works. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reprint these parts, make some adjustments. I think I'm also going to probably put some holes in this base so that I can screw it down to something rigid, and more rigid than the plastic anyway, to keep that, see, because even there you can see that moving, keep that under tension. Yeah, so I think that should work. Seems to be working anyway, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, alright, I'm gonna go redesign those things, reprint them, and then we'll come back, see if we can redo this test and see if it looks, sounds, feels any better. Alright, we're back. So reprinted whole bunch of the parts, as I was saying I was going to. So a couple of tweaks in here, so I'm now able to get much better tension on the belt here, which makes the whole thing drive a lot better. Has some improved fit as well on the bearing surfaces in there. Also, I noticed the base was flexing quite a lot, so I have that now screwed down to a little piece of wood. There's some carpet backing on that as well to take care of some of the vibrations. I've also removed the there was an encoder on the back of this, so I've removed that, which I'll reuse that for future projects. So I have it all wired up now with some software on it that will pick up coordinates that I can give it, and it will move to those coordinates. So let's try that out. So let's try moving. I think this coordinates will be in steps, so we'll try to move like 100 steps. And it moves. Move maybe another 150 steps. Oop, a little bit of a derp there, but should work. Be working pretty okay. Don't know why that's happening. Maybe something in this is also, I can hear some little ticking there, but it's working. It is moving, and it has acceleration and stuff, which is kind of nice. So yeah, I can tell it where to go, and it goes there. Yes, notice it's not spinning perfect. As you can wiggle that, there's a lot of play in the bottom bearing that's holding that shaft. So design not really perfect. I can tighten this down so that there's a little bit more pressure on the little wheels, which helps it stay a bit more level. So there's a good bit of tweaking I can do on that, but for now I'm happy enough with that. Yeah, moves around. Yeah, I'm happy enough with that for now. But yeah, there will be a lot of tweaking that will be done to make this a bit better. Yeah, it does move. So that's the first part anyway. Our the base, like kind of shoulder socket joint for our robot arm is basically finished. So there will be a lot to do next. I'll do it now, or I might do it in a while and just clean up some of this electronics. So then the next actuators that I'm going to be using are going to be these little servos. So I have a controller board that I'm going to be using for these, so I need to figure out how I'm going to wire that up. I think once I'm happy with how I'm going to do that wiring control, then I'll look to make like a nice little electronics board, and I'll probably put that in a little box and run all the cables. So a little sneak peek on what the next piece is going to be. So that this is the base, like the rotating part of like the shoulder, and then the next part we need to be able to do is like move the arm on that. So this will probably mount somewhere like this. There'll be another piece that'll go down on top of this, and it'll mount something like that. And then around a shaft we'll have the lower part of the arm moving. So that's the next part of the project I'm going to do, is make that lower arm piece. But yep, that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow the channel, share with your friends, and yeah, if you'd like to help support the work that I'm doing, you can find a link in the description to my Patreon. That's all. Thanks for watching, folks.